Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Truth Unspoken. Good to be back in America. We had a little detour. Went to Africa on some collective meetings and meeting with people that are dealing with. You know what I found out is that in Cape Town, South Africa, that their country is actually following California. So a lot of the things that I was discussing, telling them what we're battling here in America with our kids, and they said those are the same laws they're trying to pass here, the same exact laws that California has passed, they're trying to pass in South Africa, and some of them they already have. So it's just amazing to see the influence. You know, we think that this may, just be a local situation, or no, this is global. This is an actual war, and for the souls of our children and the spirits of our children, and we have to stand up and fight, and we have to do it in unity. And was discussing these things in Africa about how they never can conceive of such things, and that you should have seen a lot of their faces throughout Africa that they were shocked, and it takes a lot to shock an African. Not saying that is being funny, but the realities in life that they have to face and deal with. To hear the things that are going on in America, they were just, their minds were blown, and so. Just to let us take a reality check to see, a lot of people still don't want to address these issues that are in our face, but we must. And as parents and people that have a responsibility to steward and care for our children, this is not something that you could no longer turn a blind eye towards, or you hear it and go, oh, let me go on about my day, I have to work, I have to do this, but realizing that, hey, this is only growing, and to find out the influence we're having on another nation, to influence them to do the same mutilization and the same corrupting of children is just, it was a lot. So good thing is I got to share the link and with people international to make them aware of what's going on here in America.
A little closer.
I guess that's so you can hear me better.
Yep.
But good connections made, and we're collaborating with as many people that want to fight against this evil and this wickedness, and that their eyes are being opened. That's a good thing. People's eyes are being opened, and that's the main point of this channel, is to bring the truth so that eyes can be opened and that hearts can be moved, so that this agenda of fighting against the crooked and wicked system is going to take all of us. And the more people that we have, the stronger that we are. The more we unite, the stronger we become. And the more the information gets out, the more people can choose. And the truth, when it comes, you have a choice to deny it or receive it. And that's what we've dedicated our lives to, is getting the truth out, and letting people know that we're standing together, and that we're not going to stop, we're not going to turn away, we're not going to get discouraged, even though all those things are battles that we have to fight against. But we're not going to let it deter us, because we have an objective, and the objective is unity. The objective is to say to those that think they have power over us that our children are ours. Not as Celine Dion said that our children are not ours. Our children are ours.
Right.
And our children are God's. And so anyways, we got some more videos, some more data, some more stats, bringing light to the groups that are pushing an agenda, and more facts and more stats showing that this is not an equal rights thing. This is an evil, money, wicked thing. Right. And those that are behind it, it's about money. It's about destroying the family, destroying lives, and making money. That is the bottom line. Right. And every week we present videos and we present testimonies, live testimonies, which we have some more today. Mm-hmm. Live testimonies on what's going on, and it's the viewer's choice to believe what's happening and see what's happening, or ignore it and continue on. So let's go ahead and get ready. We're going to play the first video.
Different ways.
It's called SOJI, for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identification, a curriculum that teaches public school students across Canada to celebrate the homosexual lifestyle and that gender is fluid. In other words, your gender is not dependent on what parts you were born with, but rather what you feel like in the moment.
There's people that are boys, there's people that are girls. There are people whose gender might be a little bit of both, or might even be neither.
Lessons include books about transgender children, such as 10,000 Dresses, and songs like the Rainbow Song.
Gender won't decide the choices we make. Some boys like dressing up, some girls like catching snakes.
The SOJI curriculum started in British Columbia in 2016 and is quickly spreading throughout Canada.
I just thought, who decided that this was okay to teach our children?
Author and inspirational speaker Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson is a leading voice against the SOJI curriculum.
And we are seeing the results of that now, because some kids are reacting very emotionally and saying, and they're in fear. Will I suddenly struggle with feeling like a different gender inside of my body? No.
Carrie Simpson of Culture Guard, another leading opponent, calls the curriculum nothing short of child abuse.
All those beautiful qualities that make young girls, beautiful girls and women, are being basically vilified. The things that make our boys boys are being, taken from them. So things of equating young men to being strong protectors is something that's now evil.
But Morgan Auger, a transsexual and supporter, claims it's about acceptance, not indoctrination.
The idea is to teach kids that there are gay kids and there are trans kids and there are trans parents and gay parents in our society, and everybody's wanted and desired. After all, that's what our Human Rights Code says, and it's the role of schools to teach the following of our laws, right?
Simpson disagrees, saying she sees SOJI's real goal as
altering our culture from a heteronormative society into one where anything goes, no boundaries, no values, no morals. It's a hedonistic cult, basically, what they're implying.
Another blaring example, drag queen story time. It's happening in Canada and America, where some public schools and libraries invite drag queens, some dressed like horned demons, to read to young children.
And it's a social deconstructionist agenda. They're using children, little 5-year-olds, to accomplish this. And parents are waking up and saying no.
When asked about parents' rights, Auger says,
well, actually, in Canada, parents' rights are limited and children's rights are put ahead. So the child has the right to be protected from the parents when the parents behave badly.
Canada is known as one of the most gay-friendly countries in the world, with many of their largest cities featuring their own gay villages, like here in Vancouver, which has literally rolled out the Rainbow Road. Most gays, like village resident Dave Davy DiCarlo, support SOJI and limiting parental rights.
The change that we have to see is sometimes the parents, and the kids are doing actually really okay.
This is very scary stuff.
Longtime Vancouver area pastor Kevin Kavanaugh says this is far more serious than most Canadian Christians realize.
Our problem is not the teachers, the educators, the administrators. This is a battle in the heavenlies.
He says Satan is going after their most vulnerable, the children.
And the little girl came home in tears because the teacher had told her, since she was playing with some toys in the class that were deemed to be masculine in nature, that she was likely a boy in a girl's body. The mother went to the school the very next day, and instead of having any sort of tolerance or support or understanding, she was actually called names. She was told that she was a homophobe, that she was a bigot.
With that in mind, Tyler Thompson, Simpson, and Pastor Kevin are spreading their message across social media and in town hall meetings. The pro-gay backlash has been fierce.
And the hatred and the anger and the bullying that came against us, even though we said, we love you, we don't take from you the opportunity and the freedom to live as you choose. We love you, but we do not agree with you.
Pastor Kevin believes Canadian Christians are in a 2 Chronicles 20 moment.
The word was this battle is not yours, Jehoshaphat. This battle is the Lord's.
And the church is beginning to prepare for what it takes to fight for our kids.
The battle between an aggressive homosexual agenda and the faith community here in Canada is far from over. But many Christian leaders say it may be the issue that causes a once sleeping church to rise up and be heard. Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Vancouver.
Now, keywords is limit parents' rights. Do we pick that up? Limit parents' rights. And notice how, why aren't they going to, let's say, for example, NFL teams with young men that are 21, 22, why aren't they pushing this agenda on them? Why aren't they going to adult schools and pushing this on adults? You know why? It's because it's a whole lot harder to persuade an adult of someone that's been living as a man or living as a woman until their adulthood and say, hey, do you have a feeling that you're opposite sex? No, they have to go to children. They have to target children because children are innocent. Children are naive. Children can be influenced. And they look to adults for guidance. So these adults that have sick and perverted and money-driven agendas, is their goal is to take, which in California they already have, a lot of the parents' rights away and saying what they're saying, this LGBTQ agenda, this curriculum in our schools, what they're saying is your children belong to us. And we are taking your children from you and teaching them to lie, teach them confusion, teach them that they do not need to trust those who gave birth to them and feed them, shelter them, clothe them. So think about this. When the children leave from school, who's taking care of them? Are any of those transgender people and these teachers, are they taking care of our kids? Are they spending money on buying them new clothes? Are they spending money on their food? Are they paying the electric bills? Are they paying for the shelter that these children go home and sleep in? No, we are. But then they say when they come to school, they belong to us, and we're going to teach them to hate you, teach them to not trust you, those that provide and gave birth to them from our own bodies. Listen to that, and make it sound like this is an equal rights. Where is the equality in that, to where the children we provide for, that we work for, that we work hard to give them safety and shelter, these people don't do any of that. So if they want to take, are they offering $5,000 a month to teach our children this? No, they're taking our money and our children. So let's play the next clip. I just wanted to point out the speech of these people.
We've told you about Drag Queen Story Hour, the effort by the LGBTQ community to teach tolerance by reading in drag to children at public libraries. Well, we learned that at least one Story Hour presenter was a convicted sex offender. That was in Houston. Then earlier this year, we showed you how Drag Queen Story Hour evolved into Roll Around and Lay on the Drag Queen in Seattle. Now this, Drag Queen Strip Hour at a King County library in the state of Washington, all to a song that says, "If you feel like a girl, do your thing." Folks, how is this educational? And when Christian taxpayers say no more, my tax dollars will not be used to support this indoctrination of our children or grandchildren, we're called homophobes and bigots. We get proposals from Democratic presidential candidates to pull the tax-exempt status of churches or Christian groups and businesses who stand against this absurdity. It's all about winning votes, folks, because although they represent a small percentage of the American population, members of the LGBTQ community vote, and they do have influence. Yes, in America, we believe in protecting minority rights. The LGBTQ community must be protected from discrimination, but we don't allow the minority to have dominant influence on our society. In a democratic republic, we believe in majority rule. Jesus told us to love one another. Yes, we must love one another as he loves us. But that doesn't mean we love ungodly behavior, nor must we accept it. Remember what Christ said in the book of John, chapter 8, to the woman about to be stoned for committing adultery? He said he did not condemn her, but he told her to go and sin no more. Folks, we have a responsibility to protect our children from stripping drag queens. Jesus also warned us in Matthew 18:6, if anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. So, let's tell our taxpayer-funded public libraries that we will throw them a lifeline to save them from drowning. But like the adulteress in John 8, they must go and sin no more. Well, that's it from the Global Lane. Be sure to follow us on Facebook.
So to be clear, there's a line that's been drawn. So people have a right to believe what they want. Yep. That is your right. People have a right to live how they want. Now, sometimes that goes against the law, sometimes it doesn't. But people do not have a right to take children, influence them, have conversations behind parents' backs, and then teach children not to tell and not to speak to your parents. They do not have a right to do that. And so what's happening is there's this confusion and deception being pushed as though this is equal rights. All of those drag queens, they have a right to wear what they want, do what they want, but they don't have a right to come in and read and influence children. That is the issue, our children. And now they have lay on the floor, touch them. Notice that, touching the children. So not only do they want to read, they want to touch them, which pushes more pervertedness onto the kids. Now they're acting friendly. They're acting as though they care about the children, but they do not. Their only objective is to confuse the children and get them to get mutilated. That is the objective. And so what we have to say is, number one, our tax dollars are paying for this. We're paying for this. So they're taking our money and creating these venues to get our children, our money. And so that's why we're pushing this, October 4th, the week, I think it starts on September 31st. And there we go, September 30th through the 4th of October is we gotta keep our children home to make a statement. We gotta keep our children home to let them know. And the only way that they understand is money. So we continue to break it down that if we get 1,000 kids and through all out the nation, but all throughout California, because that's the national or the state census day, where they based on the census of that day on the 4th, I believe, or is it the 2nd? Anyways, through that week, there's a day, I believe it is the 2nd.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday in October, that the next year's funding will be based on the census, as well as the money that will be lost that week from those districts of all those children. So if we can get 1,000 kids, that's $250,000. So every 1,000 that we get after that is another $250,000. So when we can get 10,000 children, that's $5 million. So that is an attention getter, and that is a statement saying the children do not belong to you. We can keep them home. That affects your pockets. And that is the only thing you listen to is your money, is money. Yeah. You don't listen to people's hearts. You don't listen to parents' concerns. Nope. You don't listen to parents' rights. You don't believe in any of that. You only believe in money. So then we must speak the same language, the money language. Yep. And that money being taken out of the schools lets them know the children are ours. Mm-hmm. And think you can think that that's, a lot, but it's not. It's really simple. Yes, it's going to take maybe a couple sacrifices from work, but we've already come up with strategies of people that can get together, one family take the children for 1 day or 2 days, then the next family you take off from work, paid leave time or sick time, whatever it may be, and just take 2 days each. And then we rotate and everyone do that and we work together. Think about if we can get 10,000 students in California. Amazing. $5 million. That will make national headlines. Yeah. And guess what? It'll influence other states to join. Because everyone is not in agreement. You heard what they said, the minority. This group that is pushing this agenda, they're the minority. But they have the majority voice. Until we stand up. When we stand up, we will have the majority voice. All right, let's go to the next video. We have some more video to break down.
I never fit. I was an alpha female, a sales executive that kind of just didn't fit in any box. When psychologists or somebody that I was in love with or whatever said that I was in the wrong body, I started to think, well, maybe I am. I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male through synthetic hormones and surgery. I will never be a man. Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're going to go, yeah, that was a woman, had babies?
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and the side effects and...
No, there's not. And I know that people want to think that there is, but there's not. The truth is that medical transition is experimental. We have studies that said that medical transition helps mental health with kids. They've all been retracted, modified, changed. But the only long-term study tells us 7 to 10 years is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
After?
After surgery. But that's transphobic to say.
Puberty blockers, which are completely reversible and don't have permanent effects, are wonderful because we can put that pause on puberty. It's like if you were listening to music, you put the pause on and we stop the blockers and puberty would go right back to where it was. The next note in the song just delayed that period of time.
You can just pause puberty.
No, you can't.
And then pick it up.
No, you can't.
In the future.
No, you can't. How many studies do they have, long-term studies, on hormone blockers with children? None. For the first time in history, a marginalized group has a huge dollar sign on the top of their head. Every child that they convince is transgender and in need of medical transition, it generates $1.3 million to pharma. And we're believing a pharmaceutical company, Lupron, hormone blockers, reversible, so they say. Well, the truth is that in 2003, Lupron was sued and deemed a criminal enterprise by the US government. They paid the most fine of any pharmaceutical company at that time, $874 million, wrote a check.
Is Lupron chemical castration?
Yes. We're giving it to pedophiles, aren't we? We're giving it to people that are dying, and we're giving it to kids, telling them that they were born in the wrong body and it's completely safe. We're telling children when they haven't fully developed that all you have to do is medically transition and you fit in. I was one of those kids. It got me at 42. Your child doesn't have a chance.
What do you say to parents? A parent comes to you and says, my 8-year-old son is telling me he's a girl.
Yeah, great. You're going to have them do an experimental procedure that creates the most suicidal ideation of any other population 7 to 10 years after, transition. And here's what I tell parents. You don't have the right to medically transition your child.
Can kids consent? Do you think kids are capable of consenting to this?
No, they're not. Being a parent is loving the hell out of your kids and helping them see around corners. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States promoting that.
And what?
That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States telling girls that they can be boys at $70,000 a pop in a surgery that has a 67% complication rate. That will kill me from infection that I can't sue on. We're butchering a generation of children because nobody's willing to talk about anything. I have 3 kids. At the age that they're doing this to kids. I'm not transphobic. I love my kids, and I love other people's kids, and you should too. This is wrong on so many levels.
It's a simple question that now terrified.
So, again, another live testimony. See, the thing about the testimony, true testimony that is it can't be argued. You cannot argue with that woman. You cannot tell her that she's homophobic or she's a bigot or she did it. And she's saying all the facts and the stats that we've been saying and confirming yet again. The new stat that came out is we didn't know that every transgender child that they get turns into $1.3 million. Now, we knew about the $70,000 surgeries, which we broke that down in Chloe's video. I think it's episode 3 or 4. But more stats and more data. And then you hear the liars saying that they can pause puberty. Then you hear the live testimony of the person that actually took the pills and says you can't. Because there's something the Lord created us to do and develop in whatever we were born to be, male or female. And that is it. And so when you go outside of that, then you're in confusion, you're in deception, and you're in manipulation. And so we continue to give live testimonies of people that were a part of this, and then reality came in. Now, as you see now, this is an older person that went through it. 42 years old. Now she sees a lot different than what she saw before. And as she confirmed again, they're coming after our children. And if you love children, you can't turn away from this. You can't act like it's not at your doorstep. It is at all of our doorsteps. And what we do, what the decisions we make, if we're going to stand up against this, then we have to do it together, and you have to say, and you have to be willing to go through the persecution, willing to get called whatever. I don't care what they call me. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, I got to stand before God on my child. And the children that are in my care. And so do you, and so does everybody. Now, people can say whatever they want to say about that, but the truth is the truth. And so there is a war for our children, and recognizing that number one is the first step. Deciding to get involved is the next step.
Yep.
And if you have children, you're already involved, you just don't know it.
Yep.
And so there's always times like this in history where the unrighteous and the wicked and the money hungering evil people are trying to have their way, and then righteous people have to stand up. This is just another one of those times. Unfortunately, in America, we never thought we would have to see this, but we're here. And there's been many, many warnings starting from 1963 when we removed God and Bible and prayer out of schools is really when this type of situation where the door was open for these type of things to happen. And so, 1.3 million. So think about that. The objective is not to be equal. The objective is to get your child confused and to get your child thinking it's the opposite sex. So during their lifetime, they can make $1 million on them. That's the true goal.
Yep.
And you heard it out of someone's mouth that's lived it, another person yet again. So now we have another video. We have 2 videos actually of where it's taking place in schools where now, these transgender, the boys thinking they're girls and girls thinking they're boys, but now there's violence that's taking place. And this has been happening, but we're just going to show a little video of a boy who thinks he's a girl beating up an actual girl or fighting an actual girl. So go ahead, let's play this video.
Not on the agenda, though, is the reason why there's an overflow crowd here. Unified School Board meeting is starting at around 5:30. Not on the agenda, though, is the reason why there's an overflow crowd here. Parents from Martin Luther King High School want to know more about these fights that were started allegedly by a transgender student. There have been multiple fights. Take a look. 2 students arguing at Martin Luther King High School. It's unclear who started the fight, but the tall student is said to be trans. There's pushing and shoving, and eventually another student jumps in and fists fly. Parents Parents and students say the tall student identifies as trans, and that gave the student access to the locker room and bathrooms designated for females.
Yeah, she is homeschooled.
This parent didn't want to be identified, but says she's pulled her daughter out of school for her safety.
The fights that are unacceptable, the things that she does encounter, other students have encountered, walking in the bathrooms, PE, just the acceptance is fine.
Fine, she says, but claims the school is doing too much to accommodate a couple of trans students. She's complained but got no satisfaction.
And everything was on the hush-hush.
Oh, they didn't want to talk to you?
They didn't want to talk to us about it.
Students say fights are an every week occurrence, but the last 2 fights involved this one trans student, adding fuel to the fire, rumors of the trans student's behavior.
And then he's also in the girls' locker room using girls' restrooms. He spit on my friends that are girls, females, and he shows his genitals in the locker room.
This is another mother who wanted to stay anonymous. She has a female sophomore student and believes the trans student presents as masculine, and that should be enough to keep them away from the teen girls. But she tries to understand the trans student's struggles.
They're obviously acting out because they obviously mentally or probably just have a lot of emotion. They have a lot of feeling going on, and they probably don't know how to handle what's going on and how they're being treated.
But the mom also says this is not an acceptable way to handle their feelings. Riverside Unified School District released a statement this afternoon that says that the trans student at the center of those fights will no longer attend Martin Luther King High School. But I talked to a couple of parents. I'm not sure that that is enough to satisfy them. Reporting live in Riverside, Susan Urasuna, Fox 11 News.
Tall boys going into the girls' bathrooms, and even the kids are starting to say, this is out of control, and they're not condoning of what's going on. So there's a lot of common sense involved in this, and nowadays common sense is not common. So for anyone that believes it's okay for the boys to go into the girls' bathrooms and the girls to go into the boys' bathrooms, 20 years ago we didn't have that. No. And beyond that we didn't have that. And now all of a sudden we have that, and that's supposed to be okay. And if you can't understand that those are a certain group of people that are trying to control and dictate an agenda. That's what this is about, money, and about destroying families, period. If you can't see that, it's because you don't want to see that. And if you don't want to see that, then you're part of the problem. And so it's time for us that was raised when you're a boy, you go into the men's bathroom, and you're a girl, you go into the girls' bathroom. Everyone that understands that and was raised in that, it's time to stand up and go against it. So the last video is we're going to show a young woman who's speaking in front of the school district, reminding them their jobs. Yep. That supersedes the money they're receiving. There's an accountability and a responsibility. So let's go ahead and play the last video.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and only ladies and gentlemen it is and shall always be. I am an 18-year-old high school student and wanted to take this time to bring to your attention the current issue with biological men claiming they are women and in turn truly believing that they are entitled to use women's spaces. There was an incident within our district that occurred recently regarding a transgender woman who really is a biological man having an altercation with a young woman at MLK High School. It was infuriating when I had seen the video on social media, but what was detrimental to this is the fact that this man is and has been using the women's restroom and locker room. Firstly, the question we must address is why are we affirming the mental confusion of this boy and putting the safety of women in jeopardy by allowing mentally confused men to use the women's spaces? Of course, any male who claims he is a woman will accept it, but what about the women? What about the true girls like myself who are female down to our DNA? Why don't we ever get a say in whether or not we are comfortable with this? The truth is, we aren't. The majority of us aren't, and yet nothing has been done to protect the safety of these women. I will conclude with this. It all starts with you. You are in charge of the safety of us women and the kids of our parents. So please do something about it. Thank you.
Real simple. She's talking to the board. It is your job. It is your responsibility. But see, what's the problem is those type of speeches are usually ignored. The board can care less because they're getting a paycheck. So you can get up there and pour your heart out. People can clap and agree, and they'll adjourn. You get 3 minutes to speak. We've done this countless times with our school district. You get 3 minutes to speak. As you saw, it was counting down from the 144 mark. And so that's showing her 3 minutes. Maybe they cut it down to less now in that district. But the point is at the end of that, all that happens is they go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they have the next speaker. And then when they've done their public service of listening to all the concerns, it does nothing. And that is why we have to do this stay at home, students stay home movement. We have to do it. And so I want to add a little scripture that goes with the videos and the times. The first one is let's put up the Timothy, 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy 4, 1 through 2 says, "But the Holy Spirit distinctly and expressively declares that in latter times some will turn away from the faith, giving attention to deluding and seducing spirits and doctrines that demons teach, through the hypocrisy and pretensions of liars, whose consciences are seared, cauterized." So look, when it says the spirits, seducing spirits and doctrines that demons teach, you notice how the drag reading, a lot of them were dressed up as demons.
Yeah.
So the scripture is played out in real time. So this was written thousands of years ago, but yet there are people that are showing that those men dressed as demonic women are getting up and reading to our children, seducing them and deluding them, making it seem as though they're nice. And you have teachers that are doing the same exact thing. Yep. You have school board members that are doing the same exact thing. You have psychiatrists, you have psychologists, you have doctors that are using seducing spirits and deluding people, telling them, if you're unhappy as a boy, it's because you were really... Think about what the woman said. She said she was dominant in her field and in her work and all this and that. And then her psychologist friends or psychologists she dated were telling her, maybe you're a man in a woman's body. So even the seeds were planted, deluding, seducing seeds. By what? Doctors. By these people that there's something wrong with me. Let me go talk to a psychologist and find out what's wrong. And they go, yeah, we know what's wrong. You're really a man and you're a woman and you need to take these pills. This will help you. And they go, you know what? Maybe that is what's wrong with me. Now you're on this whole path that's been influenced and seduced with a lie. That's the thing about it. All these doctors know that they're lying. Yep. They know once they cut on you, you saw her forearm for the bottom surgery. They knew when they cut that skin off of that woman and tried to create a fake penis for the opposite. That's what the bottom surgery is. Yeah. When they try to create a fake one from their skin, they know. Number one, your foreskin will never be the same. They know what they're replacing there. She said that she had hair on her urethra, on the inside of her, from those pills. That is unnormal and unnatural for hair to grow on the inside in our organs. Mm-hmm. That's just one of the things that these pills have done. They also, we've proven and given the stats and the data about them being cancerous and creating blood clots. And then she said, think about it, it's 67% are gonna be problematic surgeries. There's already stats Meaning before you do the surgery, you have 67% is going to be a problem. It's not going to be a smooth surgery. And we have person after person that we're putting on here showing that the lie, you saw the scriptures, liars. Okay, let's go to the next scripture. Let's go to the one in John. Where we have Timothy, we have John, and then Matthew, right? It was three.
Yeah.
Okay, well they already showed the Matthew on the CBN.
The list of hospitals.
Yeah, in the list of hospitals. Okay, John 8, verse 44 through 44, it says, now this is Jesus speaking to those that are in the same position, far as is deluding and seducing people with lies. And so this is what he tells them. He said, you belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. So meaning anybody that uses delusion, use seduction, and uses money to get people to make decisions and to control them, this is who are they of? Yeah, exactly. The devil. Yeah. And it says he was a murderer from the beginning, not holding the truth. So these people that are mutilating our children, that people are dying from these surgeries, they're murderers. 100. They're not doctors that are here to help prolong life. They know when they cut on you, they know that it's going to be a complication. They know when they cut on you, you heard her say 18 rounds of antibiotics. She gets infections every couple months. That's for the rest of her life. And so it is for anyone that does these surgeries. That is the life that they're signing up for. A complicated one, a painful one, a mutilated one, a one of infection and disease, constantly open for infections because you have constant open wounds that won't heal. This is the truth. So you see the scripture says, not holding the truth. This are these people that refuse the truth, and they know the truth, and they use seducing words and seeds of deception. You're going to be a beautiful man and you're a woman. You're going to be a beautiful woman and you're a man. Those are lies, and they know it. It says, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language. Yeah. Native language, meaning he knows no truth.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So that's who these people are of. This is who they're being influenced. This is a spiritual war. These people are of evil. They're of the devil. So when they lie and they know that they're lying, that is their native language, means there's no truth in them. So do not believe or heed what they say. This is for our parents to wake up and stop sending our children to these psychologists. And guess what? You don't have to send them. Now they're planting them in our schools. Yep. So the psychologists and the psychiatrists are there on campus pulling our children out of class to have these discussions. For he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Anyone that continues to lie, this is what they're of, and this is what they're about. Evil. Yet because I tell you the truth, you do not believe me. There's a lot of people that were telling the truth and they don't believe.
Yep, same today.
They deny the truth. They receive the lie. So it's our job to present the truth and pray that you accept the truth.
Yeah.
And if this is not a conspiracy. This is not a political channel. We say this all the time. This is not just, oh, we're going on, we're trying to get as many views. We're trying to get as many views to get people to wake up.
Yep.
And we need to, and we're behind the scenes, a lot of these people, we're trying to collab with them. We're trying to connect with them, and it's happening so that we can wake up and take our children back, right? So be encouraged. There are positive things happening. There is unification happening. Unity is being built. It's slow. You know, there's an old saying, the lie goes flying and the truth comes crawling.
Yep.
And so the truth is coming, and the truth is starting to be received. Parents are starting to wake up. People are starting to open their eyes, and we're still taking donations for tax write-offs, trying to buy land so that we can another fixing to the problem is solution is the word I'm looking for. Another solution is getting our own schools, building our own schools, homeschooling, private schooling, charter schooling. All these we're going to be launching online very soon. Schooling where you'll be able to have your kids, and I know we went through a whole lot with the COVID on the online, but as far as is getting the curriculum that's wholesome and minus this sickness and indoctrinating our children, we're starting. We have to start somewhere. But our goal is to have actual schools to where we can have kids come and enroll in the schools. We have teachers that are willing to already shift. There's a lot of teachers that are not happy about what's going on. And we're going to have some on here to interview pretty soon. And so, anyways, I want people to be encouraged and people to spread the word. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. Please hit the share the link. Here's the name of the 5 schools that are doing this to our children. One is the Seattle's Children's Hospital, the Center for Trans Youth Health and Development Children at Hospital Los Angeles, California, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, another one, Rady's Children's Hospital of San Diego, which is very disheartening to hear, 2, California, Boston Children's Hospital, Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Stanford, 3 California hospitals.
Lead the way.
Yeah, sad. So anyways, pray that you were encouraged and that this is more eye-opening to have you share with friends, colleagues, other parents of what's going on and what we're trying to do. Please join us, share the information. Please share the information. Please donate so that we can everything donated will be going towards land and getting in school curriculum and teachers and getting brick and mortar for us to build schools. So pray that everyone has a blessed night. Thank you for tuning in to The Truth Unspoken, and we will see you again next week, and have a great night.